Coming up, we have stories about wild cake story that stops a wedding. Hold up. Wedding season continues. But now a cake is the culprit? What? Mother-in-law interfering with daily life, talking in sleep out's a cheater? Ooh, wedding dress copy, long-distance relationships, cheating on a girls' trip, and of course, baby names. Survey says, what are the top 3 things that that will cause arguments within families? Survey says, baby names, weddings, cake, a cake that stops a wedding. The cake is like, I object. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one from Am I Overreacting? It's always a good context clue just by where it's posted, right? Title of this story is Am I Overreacting? Asking my mother-in-law to stop relaying everything I do to my wife when she's visiting. Preface, my wife does not seek out this information. We have Ring cameras in the garage and house, so it's not that hard for her to tell what I am doing during the day. I also get along decently well with my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is visiting for a month to help out because my wife is pregnant and wanted her to give us a little breathing room. We have a 2-year-old daughter and haven't had much help with her at all, no family close by, so we've not had date nights or anything like that in a while. My wife thought it'd be nice to have someone over for a while so we could enjoy some time together before the second baby arrives and we're back to zero sleep and being tired all the time. Hold up. So Opie, your wife's solution to giving you more time together was to have her mom come stay with you? This doesn't sound like a solution. I hope you saw this at that time as well. In general, I get along with my mother-in-law. She's pretty old-fashioned, and we have had some rough patches when our daughter was younger. My wife works about 4 days a week from 7 to 5 in an office. I work 5 days a week from 7 to 5 from home. I occasionally run errands on work days. For instance, I injured my shoulder a few months ago and had a follow-up appointment. I usually run to the bank at least every other week. Sometimes I go pick up lunch, etc. I notice now that my mother-in-law is visiting my wife and will often ask me, "Oh, you went out today? Where did you go?" It also materializes in other ways. Wife asked me, "My mom said you were upstairs for about an hour today. What were you doing?" Was having a meeting out of earshot for mother-in-law. Or mom said you got a package today, but you took it straight to our room. What was it? Or my mom said you ordered DoorDash again. She thinks we're ordering takeout too much. Oh my God. She's micro-mommaging. It's like the hall monitor that lives with you. She's documenting everything you do and then just go, "Oh, no. I would have started doing the most random shit. He stood on his head for 30 minutes, pantsless. It was a sight. It's all monotonous shit and I'm not doing anything shady, but I can't help but feel like I have zero privacy with her in the house, and when I asked her to stop relaying everything, she flipped it on me like I'm trying to be suspicious. I'm not trying to be suspicious. I don't feel good having my every move in and out of the house tracked and having to account for everything I do every week. My wife mostly doesn't care, but can't help herself to at least ask when it's brought to her attention. I told her it's highly annoying and asked if she could also ask her mom to stop. She said she's told her mom multiple times that she doesn't need to hear my daily itinerary, but then mom is insistent on telling my wife anyways. Also, for what it's worth, my wife can pretty much track me anytime via the car. We share an Amazon account, and I don't feel like I need to justify food delivery to my mother-in-law. Am I overreacting? We have some top comments. But I would lose my shit and still I would just be as petty as hell and just do the strangest things she'd ever imagined. At 9:34 a.m., he walked out of the house wearing a tiger outfit. He came back and he was not wearing the tiger outfit. It was a gorilla. Just the most random shit. Just the weirdest shit you can come up with. Do it. Top comment. I'm petty. I'd leave a notepad on the kitchen counter, and every time I did something mother-in-law might take note of, I'd jot it down for them both to see. Like 10:20, decided to use the upstairs bathroom during a work break. 1:45, went to the bank and then stopped by Walgreens to buy AA batteries. 3:35, took a work call outside in the backyard to get some fresh air while dealing with difficult clients. 6:02, package arrived, brought it upstairs to our bedroom without opening it. Multivitamins you ordered. I know it's cliche, but all of this, when it's your family causing problems, it's your job to shut it down. If you make your partner do it, then it's going to fall on deaf ears. More people need to understand this. Besides, if your partner is trying to make you fight your battles when it comes to their family, perhaps you're with the wrong person anyway. That would make me question how much they really cared about me and how serious they really took our relationship. I did have problems with my ex's sister, and I would try to be respectful when I would come to him about our issues, but it was just becoming all the time. I understand his frustration, but I didn't appreciate it when he looked at me and said, I'm not getting involved anymore. If you have issues with my sister, it's your job to fix them. That was the beginning of the end for us. I just really felt disrespected and felt like he didn't care about our relationship. Anyway, you are absolutely right. If it is your family causing your partner problems, it's your job to put a stop to it, not your partner's. I agree with that. Yeah. Because there isn't like, if something was happening on Candy Thunder's side of the family, I wouldn't have like the authority or maybe the clout. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I don't know. I wouldn't feel like I had the authority to jump in and start managing it. She does, right? And same thing, vice versa. If it's something happening on my end, it's my job to run interference, to play triage. That's how it should be out of respect. But sometimes, like we see here, one partner can be overridden by guilt or controlled by their parents and unable to fight those battles. And in that case, I think it goes back to you do this as a team, right? If somebody doesn't have what they feel like is the power to stand up to their own family, I feel like that's one of the things that is a major benefit whenever you find your person and you start doing life together, is that you have not just your confidence now, you have not just your power, you have your partners as well. You're acting as a single unit, and you should be emboldened to do things, especially when it comes to standing up for your partner. You should be emboldened to do that. She's not there yet, which means, OP, you have some choices. Obviously, my preferred choice would be that you team up with her and give her the confidence boost to do this together, and you be as involved as you need to, but it's horseshit and it needs to stop. And I don't know how you create enough pain in your wife's understanding of this situation to tilt the scales in your favor and it be more than the perceived pain of standing up to her parents or her mom. It's got to be, it's somewhere. Surely it doesn't end in your just relationship falling apart, but if she continues to allow this to happen and isn't willing to put a stop to it, even if you get behind her and help her do this as a team, then yeah, it's going to cause irreparable damage to your relationship. What would you guys do? Where's Erica's comment here? Wife put her there on purpose. No, surely not. Is it really that deep? Could be. Damn it. Okay, so let's follow that path for just a second. If wife did put her there on purpose, she already had some kind of reason to doubt her husband in the first place, right? So she needed a private investigator. Mom is acting as a PI. And if your wife put her there on purpose, I don't like that thought here at all. Now, the question is, am I overreacting for asking my mother-in-law to stop relaying everything I do to my wife when she's visiting? There's a very different way to read that title, by the way. No, you're not overreacting for asking her to stop. I feel like you shouldn't have to do that in the first place. She said, now your wife said that she has spoken up and says she doesn't need the account. Saying I don't need it and saying stop are two very different things. She put up it wasn't a boundary at all. There were no consequences attached to that. It was just, I don't need it. Okay, well, I'm still going to give it to you. Stop, or I'll walk away. There's a boundary. Something with consequence attached, right? Your wife needs to be on your side and helping you out here. Mother-in-law is clearly doesn't need it, but she's still asking. Yeah, she's still asking the questions. If mother has brought it to her attention, she's still asking. Like, holy hell, people who look for pain will always find it. Mother-in-law is looking for pain on her daughter's behalf. She is looking for something there so that there can be a problem. Why? Why do some people feel the need to go hunting for problems? Life's hard enough as it is. Quit looking for problems. Quit looking for pain, especially on behalf of other people. Hey there, it is Dusty Thunder again with more Reddit drama for you. This one from Best of Redditor Updates is titled, "My Husband is Saying Another Woman's Name in His Sleep." My husband and I are both in our 30s, married for about 10 years with kids. When my husband is very tired, he talks in his sleep. Not a lot, but a few words. Usually it's about whatever is on his mind. When our boys were young, it was usually about feeding them or giving them a bath. Now it happens less than it did back then, but it still happens about once a week. Usually he says something about work or fishing or his car. So homie's dreaming about his to-do list. That seems like something I would do. Last night, he said another woman's name in his sleep, actually a few times. First, he just said her name and kind of laughed in his sleep. Then he said her name, "Let's go to bed." And then a few minutes later, something about a shower. Oh, doesn't sound so innocent anymore. That's not something. This is a woman that lives near us. Oh, no. Deserves another round of red flags. This is a woman that lives near us. He knows her, but I don't. I work afternoons. My husband gets out of work around 4, and so does she. They're both outside with the kids around the same time. I've never seen them be anything but friendly. I've never seen odd behavior from him, but this has me very paranoid. I don't want to be one of those people who gets mad at their partner for something that happened in their sleep. Am I being ridiculous for bringing this up to him? Also, something that happened in your sleep argument does not hold up for snoring, I found out. Update, thank you everyone. I brought it up to my husband in a joking manner. He immediately got defensive and began saying he couldn't believe I was making an issue out of this. I was pretty taken aback by his immediate defensive reaction. I assured him I wasn't accusing him of anything, just wanted to bring it up since it happened and make a joke out of it since he knew I wasn't actually upset. He continued to call me ridiculous, dramatic, etc. And if he expected me to stop hanging out with her because of this, I was out of my goddamned mind. Then he left. That's so sketch it's overdrawn. You made it into a bigger deal here. And immediately win this award, even if nothing is going on, for how you handled this situation. You brozo. Come on. Relevant comments here. Comment, put your mind at rest and talk to him. I say and do all sorts of crazy stuff in my sleep. I told my partner he was a danger to me and I was calling the police once. LOL. He really isn't a danger to me. People do some weird shit in their sleep, apparently. Apparently, I used to sleepwalk as a kid. Had a sleepover at a buddy's house when I was in elementary school and woke up on the other side of the house, just standing on stairs or some shit. Maybe I was momentarily possessed. Original OP, I'm just a little bit alarmed because he's never spoken about anyone else like this in this way. It's always very straightforward. Things that he's thinking about or are happening in real life. Comment, honey, trust your gut. His reaction is everything you need to know. That anger he directed at you is masking guilt or shame. He's having inappropriate feelings for the neighbor, whether he's acted on them or not, who knows? Okay, we have an update to read. Before we get to that, what do you think so far? You say don't freak out yet? Mel, he's wanting to cheat? He's working out his to-do list, Katie May. It was a little sus, too OP, and then his reaction elevated it to extremely sus. What? And for him, immediately taking it to the, if you're going to stop making me hang out with her because of this, you're out of your goddamn mind. Opie had never even mentioned this. The fact that he brought this up and immediately was protecting his ability to have a physical presence with this woman. Red alert. Red alert. Holy crap. Yeah, there is indeed a problem here. Now, we don't know if the neighbor is reciprocating. We just know what he's feeling right now. And either she is, and that's why he's so protective of it, or he's protecting his fantasy. Either way, his reaction elevated this and at least gave us a clue into how strongly he feels about this. And that's a problem. That's a problem. Update, May 15th, 2022, 2 days later. After my husband's very defensive response after I brought it up in a really lighthearted way, I began to get a little concerned, especially how he said, if you expect me to stop hanging out with her over this, you're out of your goddamn mind. Of course, I would have never asked him to stop talking to her over a dream, but his response really was over the top. So yesterday I took a half day and got home from work at 4:15, the time they're usually hanging out. My kids and my husband were not at home, despite my husband telling me he had gotten them off the bus and his Life 360 was saying that he was home, plus his car was in the garage. I called his phone and it went off in the bedroom, but he's not there. So I walked by the woman's house. She has a pool in her backyard, and from the street, I could hear the two of them clearly in the backyard in the pool talking and laughing. I literally didn't even go into her yard. I just yelled out my husband's name and said, "Where are the kids?" He was silent for so long. He started to say something, but I cut him off, thinking I just told him to shut the up, and told him just to tell me where my kids were. He said they were over at his mother's house. I told him he had until I went to get them and back to get his stuff out of the house. He tried to keep talking. At this point, he had come out to the street, but I honestly didn't want to hear anything he had to say. I told him I wasn't messing around. If he was still here when I came home, I was going to lose it. He got the point. He was gone, but I did let him tell me his side of the story on the phone later that night. He said they were just friends, that he didn't tell me how close they were because he thought I would get upset. A lie. I don't care if he has female friends, not as long as he's respectful of boundaries, which he wasn't. I don't believe anything he said. He lied about where the kids were to innocently hang out with just a friend. Obviously, this is all new, but I have no intentions of reconciling with him. I'll be a co-parent and nothing else. It feels surreal to me how all of this started. I still really can't believe it's happening. Holy shit. Relevant comments. Original OP responding to a downvoted commenter. I don't understand what you're confused about. He lied about where my children were. He lied about where he was to hang out with her. You have to be a moron to not see that he's cheating. Somebody was defending it. Why would he lie if this was innocent? Comment, I absolutely knew something was up from your first post. I'm so sorry. Do you think they've been having sex? Is he trying to save your marriage? Or no, is she married? What scum? Yes, he is. What, he's trying to save the marriage? Or yes, he's having sex with her? I don't know. Comment, what exactly is his excuse for sending your kids to his mom's house so they could have a date? I can't even imagine. Original OP, one of our sons had just been sick for 2 days before, so he said he didn't think he would be up for swimming. Comment, did you ask his mother for what she was told? Why she was asked to watch the kids? Does she know what her son has been doing? I'm so happy you were taking care of this now. Original OP, he told her he had to work on the house and didn't want them around while he did it. Another lie. What do you know? He's like, he had a cold a couple days ago. I didn't think you'd be up for swimming. You didn't think that they'd be up for watching your self-produced pool corn. Brozo is so dumb. He didn't even think to be quiet. She heard them cackling from the street. Also, don't you all have other neighbors? And no one said shit about anything. You see them, hear them, and just assume hey, that's okay. That's okay. But he's so recklessly dumb about this, though. The guy disregards the children to let this fantasy play out. Lies to his wife, burned his entire life to the ground to hang out with her in the pool. He didn't want to tell his wife how close they were because he thought she'd get mad. Well, so you felt guilty in the first place. Also, your excuse being that you felt guilty because you were closer than you let on is not an excuse, my man. That doesn't change anything. That doesn't get you out of trouble. What are you doing? Why? If you don't want to be with someone, don't be with them. Why? Be so cowardly about it. And I'm sure the stories to the neighbor were I'm just still with her for the kids. It's all about the kids. It's just for the family. There's nothing between us anymore. And she's like, oh, me too. Let's get in the pool together, huh? Oh, okay. I'll send my kids to my mom's. Brah! Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one is from Am I the Devil? And is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Wearing the Same Wedding Dress? My sister, 25 female, is getting married this December. At the end of last year, my mom, her maid of honor, and I all went wedding dress shopping. Her dress is amazing, and I must admit I was very jealous that she was the one getting married and getting it over me. However, at the time, my boyfriend and I hadn't talked about marriage yet. However, things have changed. I recently found out I was pregnant and we decided to do a very small and quick wedding at the end of the summer. He was already planning on proposing towards the end of the year, and this just made him realize it was time to do it now. I do want a white gown, and he knew it might be a little hard given the quick turnaround. However, I went to a bridal salon by myself, and they had a huge sale on marked off gowns. It was a case of what you saw was what you got. As I was going through the dresses, my sister's dress spotted my eye. I couldn't resist and tried it on with a few others. It nearly fits perfectly, and the consultant said that if I took it to a wedding dress seamstress, it could easily be mended to fit to size. I must admit I got impulsive and just bought it. No, it's your sister. She already has it. You knew she already had it. You went ahead and did it anyway because you chose yourself over her. Oh, and because you're going to do yours first, you just screw her. Ah. Wow. When I got home, I sent a text to my mom and sister, and I should have seen this coming, but my sister did lose her cool. She called me asking why I bought her exact dress. I told her that I liked it, and it fit me, and it wasn't that big of a deal. She told me it was a big deal because other than our mom, her maid of honor, and I, no one knew what her dress looked like. Her fiance would see the dress at my wedding instead of hers. Once again, I told her it wasn't that big of a deal and she needs to stop stressing me out. No one would remember us wearing the same dress, and it won't take away anything. Well, it's a good thing they don't capture these moments at these events to hang on to forever. Click. No one will remember us wearing the same dress. Okay, hold on. Before I move forward in this story, ladies, if you went to two weddings that were, let's say, 6 months apart, and sisters had worn the same dress, would you notice? I feel like there in wedding number 2 would be a lot of, bitch, please. However, our dad called me later and told me that I needed to find another dress. My mom is trying to stay out of it, but has texted me that she thinks I would look beautiful. Mom, what are you doing? You're fueling the feud. What are you doing? This will destroy my family. Yes, I am here for it. Top comment, I don't buy that dress specifically was the only one that worked and could be altered in time. She's a petty, jealous biatch and knew exactly what she was doing. She went there and tried it on knowing she was getting it already. It is a big deal because it was a targeted decision. It was done with malicious intent. Yes. She knew this dress already belonged to her sister, and she chose it because she was going to wear it first. Would she choose this dress if her wedding was going to be after her sister's? Hell no, she wouldn't. Because, no, which negates her entire argument. It all comes crashing down. So am I the astronaut for wearing the same dress? Yeah, that's pretty evil. And if it had happened to you, you would have been losing your absolute shit. Flipping out. Setting things on fire. You would have not handled this well at all. And you said your sister needs to stop stressing you out? Oh no. You're saying she shouldn't stress you out because you're playing the baby card now too. Oh shit. You're going to play the baby card to pull this off. It's brilliant. Terrible, but brilliant. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is titled, Divorce is on the Table Because Husband and I Can't Agree on a Baby's Name, with an update. Hello, Reddit. This might look funny, but it's an actual problem between me, 23 female, and my husband, 24 male. We've been dating for a year and have been married for 2 years. I got pregnant like 7 months ago, so recently we started discussing the name for the baby. Okay, they've been married for 2 years. Got it. Ever since we found out it's going to be a girl, my husband wants to name it like his ex's name. It's not any ex, but the one he dated for a long period of time and loved the most. Okay, buddy. Why? Why would you do that? Like, oh no, Skib. Like we have another brozo on our hands. In the beginning of our relationship, we had many problems because of her, but she moved away, so the problems went away. He really loved her and he never hid that from me, but I thought it was over once she moved away. Now he made it clear that he wants the baby to have the name to have that name, and I can name the second child. When I asked him why he wanted that name so badly, he said just because he and his ex didn't work out doesn't mean he doesn't want something to keep reminding him of her. Your kid? You want your kid to be like the what? Your kid can't be a souvenir for a previous relationship, man. That's creepy. I don't use the term creepy often. That's creepy. No. He doesn't understand how much it's affecting me and keeps saying it's just the hormones. Is he still in love with the ex, or is it normal that he wants to name our kid like that? Thank you. Top comments. Comment. Tell him that you want to name your second child after one of your previous F buddies because the sex was so good and you just want to be reminded of it even though things didn't work out. Sarcasm. Like, seriously, what the is he thinking? I don't know your husband's feelings toward his ex, but this is not normal. Relevant comments here. Comment, wow, he just told you you are second best. He blatantly is saying he settled with you. No way. Voodoo, NDA, divorce the brozo. Limerence? Possibly. Limerence? Yeah, but he, to openly be able to tell your partner that you settled for them and that this other person will always be number one takes a healthy dose of indifference. He has to give zero shits about her to be willing to say this to her. I think this is validation seeking, right? This is like, I'm not crazy, right? This is not okay. This just gives me the ick. Oof. Here's the update. January 18th, 15 days later. I'm sorry for the late update, but the last few weeks have been hell for me. I'm going to write a quick update here, mostly to thank all the people for opening my eyes about everything. I also apologize for my English mistakes because I'm from Italy and it's not my native language. I followed through most of the advice in the comments, from calling our friends, asking for help, asking his mom, talking to him, and calling the ex. This post blew up in 2 days, and then I decided to show him the comments where everyone said that we should not name our child after an ex. He said I'm listening to random social media strangers instead of my husband, and called me so many bad names, refused to talk about it, and still wants to name our child like his ex. Next thing I do is call his mom and mutual friends. His mom called me immature and said it's just a name and I should only care about delivering the child healthy and not argue with him over something stupid. Well, at least you know where he gets it. Our friend said they don't want to get in between us and suggested therapy as well. I was really desperate, so I did something I never would. I called the ex. She didn't sound surprised by it at all and said she kind of knew he was going to name the child after her, but she explained it fully because he couldn't look me in the eyes and say all that. Two of them had an agreement while they were still in love to name their children after each other if they don't work out. She left him and obviously grew out of it and said she would never name her child after him because it's absurd, and she wasn't surprised that he still wants to do it. When I asked her why does she say that, well, here comes the shock. My husband tried getting in contact her via Facebook several times, asking her to meet up, etc., and she kept refusing because he's a married man. Here you can see that she is not a bad person. And by the way, for anyone who asked, her name is Aurora, and I wouldn't mind just naming my child Aurora because it's a beautiful name. And she isn't a bad person because I don't want to raise someone who will remind my husband of his ex. I thanked her for telling me the truth and asked her to inform me if he tries to contact her again. I confronted my husband about it and told him I knew the truth. Being an asshole as he is, he admitted and said there's nothing wrong with it. The baby is mine, she will look like me, and he gets to name her as her like he promised. I told him it's nonsense, and even Aurora said it's stupid, but he sticked to his decision. We still didn't talk much, and he spent days and nights out with his single friends. Pretty soon, I get a call from Aurora, and she tells me he called her from his friend's phone and told her he is single now and asked to meet up and that he would fly up just to see her. After all those years with no contact with her, marriage with me, future daughter, she's still in his mind and he wants to meet her. I'm completely broken. Divorce is the only thing on my mind, but it will be so stressful with pregnancy and everything else. I guess I wanted to be blind with him. But thanks to this app, at least I won't spend my life with someone who doesn't even love me. Edit. Also, Reddit, feel free to drop names in the comments. I don't want to name my child Aurora because it would forever remind me of this incident and I can't think about names, so help me out. Relevant comments. Comment, sorry. Sounds like you're still in the shit. He said there's nothing wrong in it. Baby is mine. She will look like me, and at least he gets to name it as her, like he promised he would. He called her from his friend's phone and told her he is single now and asked to meet up and that he would just fly up to see her. I'm sorry, but it sounds like the person you married wishes he married someone else. It's really f***ed up. But I don't think he loves you. He may never have loved you. He may have just settled for you. But there are 3 wonderful things ahead of you. You can be grateful that Aurora has been honest with you. That is really helpful to you. You can be grateful you learned the truth about your ex now and not in 3 or 5 or 15 years. You can be grateful that you are now able to take back your life and work on creating a happy life in the future. P.S. His mom sounds just as up as he is. Comment, well, at least now you know he's a piece of shit who tries to cheat while his wife is giving birth to his child. You deserve better. They are not getting divorced over a baby name. They're getting divorced because he's still in love with his ex, even though he's married to and having a child with you, OP. This guy gets this. He gets Brozo. And he gets this for being just a huge piece of shit. OP and TA. It's, feel terrible for her. Terrible for her. And okay. Aurora has always been a name that, like, I threw it out as an option whenever we were shortlisting names for Navy. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is from AITAH. And goes like this. Am I the astronaut for breaking up with my girlfriend because she literally told me she would cheat on me if I took a new job? I know this is going to come across as first world problems. I'm currently at a job where I earn about $250K a year. I have an opportunity for a job where I will get $640K a year. Damn. Currently at a job where I earn about $250K a year. I have an opportunity for a job where I will get $640K a year. The caveat being that the new job is overseas. I will be gone for 4 months at a time instead of 4 weeks at a time. My girlfriend is unhappy. She says that she doesn't want me gone for that long, that she will get lonely. I try to explain that I will only be doing this job for 1 or 2 years and that the money I make sets us up for a bright future. We can pay off all of our debts. We can buy a house. We can travel on my off time. She then said she doesn't care about any of that and that if I'm gone for that long, she might need company. I didn't understand at first as I said that we could get the dog she has been wanting to get. She said she meant human company. I said she had lots of company at work and at school and she was welcome to use our place to socialize all she wanted. She then spelled it out because I was stupid to think that she was a decent human. She said she wasn't going to go for months without sex. I said I completely understood and broke up with her. She is going crazy right now. She's at her sister's house and calling and texting me constantly. She says that I misunderstood and that she would never cheat on me. Like I said, I'm gone for a month at a time, so now I'm pretty sure she's been lonely before. I can't trust her. I'm not going to try and build a future with someone who can't think about plans. OP's comments. OP's job, construction project management. Many remote locations have this sort of pay and schedule. I know a woman from Japan that is currently on assignment in Canada that has this schedule. OP said they tried to get a degree in engineering, failed horribly, became a millwright, moved my way up. Huh. Interesting. So, Crystal, 4 months of silence, 4 months I have in the house how I want it. I'll see you at the end of 4 months. Instead of... So what OP took from this was, her having to spell it out. If I don't know what she was trying to accomplish here. I don't understand that. If she was trying to accomplish him asking her to come visit more, or paying for her to come visit more, or I don't know what solution she was asking or trying to hint toward, but she didn't do a good job. She didn't get there. Instead, she just made herself look like a completely selfish person and was like, well, who's gonna take care of my needs if you're not here? Not I'll fly out to see you, not like let's find a way to see each other more often. It was just purely like, who's gonna take care of my needs while you're not here? And he's like, well, we can get a dog. I don't mean like that. You have humans at work. I don't mean like that. What he learned from this was that she's been unfaithful before. Do you guys think, based on what she said and her saying that she would get lonely, she didn't come out and say, I will cheat on you, but she said, I will get lonely. Do you think that means that she's done this before? Do you think He's usually gone for a month. He said he's been gone for a month before, and that means that if she's saying that now, that she's already done it. Okay, everybody gets the same vibe there. He seems very matter of fact here, and it's like he's an input output kind of guy. Based on the information that he took in, he immediately takes action, like no qualms, right? So he was like, I understand completely. We're done. Very nonchalant, right? And that I thought maybe a gut reaction. Like maybe it could have been a knee-jerk reaction because he kind of does this instant basic input-output system when he's using decisions. I'm not opposed to it, but it was very much based on what you told me, we're done. That's it. And good on him for not continuing this with that doubt, because if they are going to be living apart for a while and he can't trust her or there's any doubt in that, this relationship is not going to last anyway. She just tore up her meal ticket and is now like, oh my God, what have I done? Now when she spills her guts to all of her bougie friends, she's like, I was so close. He was gonna get $630K and like we were gonna be set for life. And I totally screwed it up, guys. They're gonna be like this. Shame. Yeah, I mean, okay, so she created a boundary, right? Because the boundary is if you cross this, something will happen. But the boundary was her fooling around on him. He's like, okay, I have to do the work, so I guess we're done. And the question, am I the astronaut for breaking up with my girlfriend because she literally told me she would cheat on me if I took a new job? She didn't literally say that, but okay. No, there was enough of a seed of doubt planted there for you to be like, screw it. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be working my ass off like remotely for a year wondering who you're entertaining at the house tonight. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. Title of this story is, Am I the astronaut for suspecting my wife after she went to Mexico and spent no money and took no pictures? She went on a leave no trace trip? I am in the middle of probably the biggest crisis of my adult life and I can barely think, so I apologize in advance if this comes across as really weird or rambly. My wife went to Mexico last week for a friend's bachelorette party, and aside from the plane ticket, the hotel, and the first day's food and drinks, she didn't spend a penny all week. I mean, on the credit card, it's clear as day that on Monday and up until about 9 p.m., she was buying dinner, stuff at the hotel, shop, drinks at the bar, souvenirs. And then at 9 p.m., she didn't spend another cent the entire week until she was at her layover airport in Dallas. She says it's because her friend took over and paid for everything. I guess this is plausible, but it's still giving me a funny feeling. What is worse is that my wife is a person who posts her entire life on Instagram and TikTok, mostly Instagram. But if she does anything from getting a latte to picking up the kids at school, she will post it either as a picture or as a story. The last thing she posted on TikTok was that a trend of people jumping into their vacation from the airport, and after that, her social media is blank. I was kind of keeping an eye on it because I was excited for her to go on the trip. And again, I guess it's plausible, but it gives me a funny feeling. When she got home, I said I can't wait to see all the pics she took, and she really blew me off and said she just didn't feel like taking pics that week. She has also been incredibly distant, and last night she said she just felt like sleeping on the couch because the AC hits better. This is 100% true, but I swear I heard her talking on the phone in the middle of the night. When I got up to check on her, I accidentally tripped over the dog and made a huge racket, so when I got downstairs, she appeared to be asleep. I brought all of this up this morning and said I'm not accusing her of anything, but all of this put together is making me feel uneasy. I wasn't trying to bait her or fight with her, just get my feelings on the table. She said, "You are a major asshole for bringing this up on her first day back at work." I said I wasn't trying to pry, just communicating with her, and she said, "Your communication is prying, and I am not discussing this with you ever again." She then took the kids to summer camp and left. Am I the astronaut? We have an edit and an update, but for someone to go on a trip, and it is plausible, like bachelorette trips, if it's an all-inclusive thing, it's possible that they were like, all right, you don't spend another dime. Everything is on us from here on out. Could be. What about the rest of it, though? Her behavior change is more alarming, right? And she's defensive. And as we read in a story earlier, it's the response that elevates the sus factor. Okay, let's dive into the edit here. Edit. So I realized that her text probably synced to her iPad, so I just checked. Took me a while to figure out the passcode, but I did. But there was an iMessage at 9:15 the night she got to the resort to a number with no contact info that said, "Okay, I'll meet you in the lobby." Is the app you said Signal? I looked up Signal, and it's kind of like WhatsApp. The iPad doesn't have Signal on it. So she downloaded a different app to chat with somebody and then deleted it. Edit 2, if you have been following my comments, you've seen that my sister is coming over and she's an insane internet sleuth and is relentless when it comes to this kind of cheating stuff. She also scares me a bit, so I'm hoping this isn't a mistake. I'm going to probably stop responding for a while so we can talk and she can do her thing. I am numb, but she can do this. Thanks for everyone and the nice comments and the reality check. It's not looking good. Edit 3, she cheated. My sister was able to get lots of info from the real estate guy, and my wife denied it at first, but then admitted it. Sorry it took so long to update, but I'm numb. I have literally zero idea what to do now. Edit 4 was deleted for personal reasons for OP, per Candy Thunder. Understood. Edit 5. I know people really want updates, and we've been talking, arguing, screaming, threatening all day long. I'm more confused than I was this morning, that's for sure. But I'm also confused, exhausted, sad, upset, nervous, and I don't know what to do. I did make a preliminary appointment with a family law attorney tomorrow to talk about protecting assets and how to navigate the legal way ahead, regardless of what I choose to do. I will say there's a subreddit that this was cross-posted to, and it may be the most toxic group of people I've ever seen online, and I feel really bad for those people. As for the privacy issues, no one has figured out who we are. That's not a challenge, by the way. I'm very tired, and I doubt people are still invested, but if there's still an interest, I can update either on this post or a new one in a few days. I'm really hoping to sleep tonight. My sister still has the kids, and they are having a blast and went to the lake with her boyfriend's family today, so I'm glad they're in good hands. And the official update now. Yeah, I have some professional buddies, like some industry buddies who like to use Signal for chatting. And that's literally it. But it's one of those, if your company uses it and you want to interface or engage with other collabs, or apparently if you're trying to hide cheating. Official update. Good morning, everyone. I know it's been a while, but as I'm sure you can imagine, this has been the worst week of my life, and it's been an absolute whirlwind of activity trying to get things set up in a life that I don't really even recognize anymore. First of all, I'm now in the process of getting a legal separation from my wife with the aim of getting divorced. She and I both want to take the process very slow so it's fair to everyone. I do have a personal lawyer who is handling the separation, but even she recommends that it will be cheaper and easier for us to do a mediated divorce. She, edit the lawyer, not my wife, has a colleague who has this sort of package deal where we will work together with a certified counselor while we are meeting with the mediation lawyer to handle the legal aspects. The goal is to learn to be co-parents and friendly while we go through the breakup. I know my wife is hoping to see the counselor with the aim of reconciling. I am doing the counseling so I can learn how to treat her with some sort of respect as the mother of my kids for their benefit. I can't possibly see reconciling, but I guess stranger things have happened. So to those of you who read along last week, know that my sister is one of those internet sleuths who if you can tell her a first initial in someone's eye color, she can come up with the person's entire life history in a matter of minutes. I've pretty much let her handle all of the dirty work. She did some research on the guy, and he's an absolute piece of shit. He has judgments and liens against him all over the country. He has 6 kids with 4 different women and is delinquent on child support in most of them. And it seems like his MO is to just wait until the kid turns 18 and hope they stop coming after him. And this is the guy my wife picked to ruin everything for. My sister did get in touch with his current wife and said that she has pics and text messages to prove that he was cheating, and so far has not heard back from her. Who knows what's going on with that? My assumption is it's happened so many times she expects it and tolerates it, or maybe we will hear back from her. It was the first gut reaction that I felt too. It's not a surprise to her, and it's happened before. My wife and I are still in the house together until the separation is official, and we may continue to be even after the legal separation is done. I just don't know, and I figure as long as we can be friendly to each other, then it's okay. I had to go away on business last week, and when I got back on Saturday, it was pretty clear the fight in her was gone, and she wanted to talk and accept full responsibility, and was willing to come clean about the whole thing. I told her I really didn't need to hear anymore because her affair partner had confessed the whole thing and even sent pics. I think her thing now is that she's utterly humiliated and has been very quiet, even obsequious as her general manner around the house. It's not really what I want because I didn't get married to have a servant, and the change in her normal fiery and funny personality is only a reminder that something is really wrong. Kids are doing fine. They're spending a lot of time with my sister and her boyfriend and his family. So hopefully looking back, this will just be the summer before their parents got divorced and are missing the turmoil in the house. I guess if there are questions, I can try to answer them, but that's pretty much what's been going on here. There is one more update, but damn. Obsequious. Yeah, like subservient, right? Damn. Mel J. Wolf, thank you so much. With the love and the hearts on the YouTube side of the stream, it does make a difference. Thank you. Yeah, poor guy. Like what? So how did she not think when she was going to do this that it wasn't going to be suspicious? And apparently, it wasn't even a bachelorette thing. Apparently, she was just going to have this hookup. The bachelorette thing was a farce. Okay, here's the update that is on surviving infidelity. Hello, my posts from the last 2 weeks have gained quite a bit of traction on the AITAH pages, and several people have advised me to post here. Long story short is that my wife went on a trip to Mexico and had a mostly emotional/financial affair, but it got physical at least once. It certainly would have been more, but the guy had pretty severe health issues. I am beside myself with anger and embarrassment, but as the days have gone on, I am thinking that I can't live without her. We have been together since we were 13. We have kids. I have a side business with her dad. I'm great friends with her brother, and my family loves her like a daughter. We're scheduled to bring the divorce mediation next week while also doing co-parent counseling, so the process is moving forward. Part of me feels like I'm grasping at straws to forgive her, but part of me feels like she has shown me a lot of grace and forgiveness, and I should give her the same chances she gave me. When we were 15, I cheated on her while I was at a baseball camp. Not only did I cheat on her, I dumped her when I got home, explicitly told her it was her fault that I cheated on her because the girl wasn't a good girl Christian. And then I dated other girls that school year and rubbed it in her nose at every opportunity. It wasn't until she started dating that I realized how sorry I was and begged her to take me back. In 17 years, she's never held my behavior against me, except for some light ribbing now that we're older. She forgave me unequivocally, and I vowed that I would never hurt her like that again, and I truly haven't. But I can admit cheating as a horny 15-year-old guy is a far cry from cheating as a 32-year-old mother of two. She had so much more to lose and so many more people who would be hurt by her actions, but she loved me enough to forgive me even though it must have crushed her. I have to admit there's a huge part of me that feels I owe her a second chance because she gave me one, even though the circumstances are so much different. I'm not even really asking what I should or should not forgive her. Rather, are these emotions normal? Am I rationalizing something that should not be rationalized? Okay. So everybody's going to view this a little bit differently. I feel like, OP, yes, you are rationalizing something that should not be rationalized. I feel like you are grasping at straws here. You feel what is the comfort of your normal world right now slipping away, and you're grasping at anything you can to try to slow that process down. But all of the things that you mentioned, having the side business with her dad, being really close with her brother, those things don't change. Your family loving her like a daughter, that'll probably change. But the other things can keep going. A lot of your life can keep going the way it is. It doesn't have to change. Your connections with previous family members don't have to change, especially if you're in business. The whole 15-year-old thing, like, come on, man. Come on. Yes, that's shitty. Shouldn't have done that 17 years ago. Is it 17? Is that right? I understand that there are kids involved. Here's the deal, though. The example for what your children will believe love is and a marriage should be are going to be the example that you set for them in this house. And if you accept this, not to say that it's not fixable, she could do the work to fix this whole thing. I don't know that she's willing to right now. I don't know. But I'm not saying it's not fixable, but if it's not fixable, that child can grow up with healthy parents who choose themselves and choose happiness, and they can provide a great example. If you stay and it's this broken, toxic relationship full of regret and resentment, and it's backhanded compliments to each other, and it's just being shitty, and it's you never fully trusting her and her always being on guard or being obsequious around the house, that is not the example that you want to create for your kids as for what love in a marriage should be. I do not think. You have to look at everything that is involved with every choice that you make here. So let's say, yes, you grasped at straws here and you're like, oh, she gave me a second chance, I should give her one. Okay. What happens later on? How are you going to heal the two of you? How are you going to heal this relationship? How are you going to heal this family? How is it going to work? It is not as simple as just saying, yes, I'll forgive it, or no, I won't. Nothing is simple about this. Everything you do is going to be complicated. You just have to make sure that you think it through and choose the one that takes you to what your goal really is. What do you want? What do you want, OP? You have to answer that. And then remember that every time you're making a choice. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder once again with another Reddit story for you. This one is from the AITA subreddit and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Suggesting That My Brother and His Fiancée Bring Out a Cake at Midnight on Their Wedding Day for Our Grandma's 80th Birthday? My older brother is getting married to his partner on July 20th, a date that they agreed on in January and shared with the family. July 21st is our grandma's 80th birthday. She comes from a line of women where none of them lived past the age of 80. So it's a big deal for her, and she announced last year that she wanted to go all out with a weekend-long celebration. When my brother announced his wedding date, she was the first one to react with kindness, considering he forgot all about her 80th birthday plans when deciding upon the wedding date. They had made several down payments before announcing, so there was no point in asking them to move the wedding a week before or later for grandma, and grandma wouldn't allow it. She ultimately decided to have a relaxing, low-key Sunday dinner because my brother and his fiancée also want to have a post-wedding brunch that day for relatives and the bridal party. My mom and I got to talking, and we thought it would be super fun if, at midnight, us grandkids could surprise Grandma with a cake and have the band play her favorite song so we could share a dance with her. It seemed like a fun way to include such an important milestone into the celebratory weekend since she was giving up her big birthday bash in favor of the wedding. I called my brother immediately to share the idea with him, and he loved it. He even came up with the idea to make the cake England-themed because Mom and I are taking her to England in September as our gift. It's a lifelong dream of hers to go. That is, he loved it until he didn't, meaning until he spoke to his fiancée. He called to say the cake deal for Gran was off, and that same night I received a text from his fiancée telling me I should have checked with her first if she would be okay with it, and how I was being insensitive, rude, and selfish for meddling with her special day. Yes, her special day, not my brother's special day or their special day, her special day. She really seems like a good person and we get along well despite not being super close, but it seemed logical to me to contact my brother since it's also his wedding and it's his grandma, not hers. I responded back by saying it was my brother's special day as well and how he was initially thrilled by the idea. I also told her I didn't appreciate her accusing me of meddling since both Mom and I have fully respected the fact that she planned the entire wedding with her mom, leaving us out of the loop, despite my parents paying for a portion of the wedding. My mom was bummed about being fully excluded, even though all she would have wanted was to know how everything was going. The wedding reception is scheduled to end at 2 a.m., and by midnight, she'll already have been at the center of attention. It's not like someone is going to jump out of her wedding cake and propose to another person. My text was met with a phone call from my brother who basically told me the conversation is over and that I've overstepped my boundaries. Am I the astronaut? Okay. The way that it was brought up is an NTA thing. I don't feel like you did anything wrong here at all, OP. It would be unnatural for you to reach out to the fiancé with this. You mentioned it to your brother because that made sense. He was excited about it. She's mad at him. She's mad at him for saying yes. She's mad at him for being excited about it before talking to her. He probably got a whooping good too. Good on you for responding and being like, listen, bish. No, it's not just your day. Also, I don't appreciate your tone, bish. Good for you. You had a backbone. Just because it's her day doesn't mean she gets to railroad everyone. He's in for a preview about how the rest of his life is gonna be. Oh, you thought that was a good idea? That's cute. Shut your mouth. You don't make decisions. Only I make decisions. That's her voice. That's how she's coming across to him. You don't say shit before you come talk to me. I'll tell you if you can say something or not. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. This is what you're signing up for here, brother. Update. Am I the astronaut for suggesting that my brother and his fiancée bring out a cake at midnight on their wedding day for our grandma's 80th birthday? The wedding is off. The wedding's off. The wedding's off, everybody. After the conflict between me and my brother's former fiance, which resulted in a phone call from my brother, I decided to text her 3 days later to apologize. Even though my family and the internet sided with me, I just didn't want any bad mojo or to be a sister-in-law from hell. My text was met with a lot of anger on my dad's behalf, which really surprised me because the man supports me no matter what. He was telling me how I shouldn't have been the one to apologize, and he let another thing slip out. End of February, the bride's dad asked my dad, in confidence, if he could pitch in additional money for his daughter's dream wedding because he didn't think it was fair he had to pay more due to tradition. My mom didn't know about this, which prompted fight number 1. Oops. My dad was pissed that I was the one to apologize, even though I was the one that was insulted. So he called my brother behind our backs and told him that he respects the fact that she will be his wife and his primary family, but how he also thinks he should have checked her for insulting me the same way he checked me for crossing a boundary. He then did what dads sometimes do best, to go off with a monologue about keeping shit inside for months. He told him about the additional money that he gave, and he told him he wasn't convinced the overlapping events were a coincidence. Fight number 2 ensued. My brother called our mom the next day to tell her the wedding was off. All hell broke loose. We then couldn't get in touch with my brother or his fiance for almost a week. Her mom then got a hold of my work email and emailed me saying I had ruined her daughter's life. I forwarded the email to my brother and he finally called me back. He said it felt like she wanted to marry for the wedding, not for the marriage. She also admitted to making her dad ask our dad for more money so she could afford a wedding flower package she wanted. That was an additional $7,000, and she saw nothing wrong with keeping it a secret from my brother. She also refused to at least acknowledge my apology and to apologize back to me. My brother told her he would like to postpone the wedding and work on their issues, and she ended up calling off the wedding and breaking up with him. My relationship with my brother is still a wreck. He said he needs time because he loves her, but he understands she didn't prioritize him as much as he did her. Grandma's birthday bash is back on, and we're happy for her. She's excited as heck after the initial turmoil. I miss my brother so much, and it sucks knowing how heartbroken he is, but at least he's talking to my parents, and he has the rest of his family as his support system. I really hope we can rebuild our relationship someday. I'm glad he won't marry the wrong person for the wrong reasons, but it's awful being the trigger to his life falling apart, and I regret everything. You can't feel bad about that, OP. Don't feel bad about that. Feel good about that. You did your brother the biggest favor he will ever receive in his entire life. You saved him. You saved him. This is a bigger deal than you saving him from a speeding bus, right? You saved him from a lifetime of turmoil. You saved him from a lifetime of torment and regret and being manipulated and being silenced. You saved him. How is your relationship still a wreck? He'll get his head out of his ass eventually and be like, you know what? I should be thanking you. Yeah, you should be. The guilt you're feeling right now, you need to wash it away if you can and accept right now that you saved his ass. Saved him. Saved him the financial burden of a divorce. Yeah. And you know, I understand they probably paid a shit ton for this thing already. That sucks. But I'm sure that they can at least get a little bit of money back because the wedding isn't going to happen. And the fact that he wanted to slow things down so they could work on their problems and she immediately just dumped him. Yeah. You know everything you need to know by her response right there. An extra $7,000 for flowers. Yeah. What? Yeah. What does $7,000 worth of flowers look like? Goodness. Oh man, the average cost of flowers in the U.S. is $2,800. So she's tripling up, and did that behind her fiance's back, zero given. But he pitches an idea to honor his grandma surviving a year longer than any woman in her family has. And she's like, veto. Is the cake for me? Are they singing to me? Veto. Bitch. Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, You can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.